Hi, my name is Sean. I'm one of the instructors here at the Center for Manufacturing Technology. Today I'm going to show you how to set a stop and use an edge finder on a manual Bridgeport. So as you can see, we have our stop set on our vise. We have an aluminum stop that was handmade here in the shop with 2 pieces of steel on either end and 2 locking Allen screws on the back. The first thing we're going to do is take our part, placing it on our parallels and banking it up against the stop. I'm going to hand tighten it and then grab my vise handle and give it a little tap. Then I'm going to take a hammer, give my piece a little tap to make sure that it's sitting flat on my parallels. And then we're going to install our edge finder into our drill chuck. So today we're using a Brown & Sharp 1/2-inch shank edge finder. The tip of the edge finder is 200 thousandths thick, so we're going to move in 100 thousandths once we find our edge. So I'm going to install that into the drill chuck here. Giving it a hand tighten, and then taking my chuck key and just snugging it up. We don't need to over tighten the edge finder, as we could end up damaging it. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that the RPMs aren't set too high on my spindle. It looks like I've got about 1,000 RPM, so that should be fine. So I can turn on my spindle. And then I want to bring the edge finder over to the right side of my part. We're going to start by finding our X dimension. As you can see, our edge finder is just below the top surface of our part. Making sure that all of this 200 thousandths thick piece of the edge finder is actually below will give us a pretty good reading. We've got a saw cut edge here, so I want to make sure we're getting the most out of our edge finder. So now I'm going to bring the edge finder onto the part. And to make sure I can see when the edge breaks, I can just give the edge finder a little flick, and then I'll bring it on, and you'll see it slow down and come to a stop. And then the edge will break. Once the edge breaks, I'm going to come up to my digital readout, pressing X, an absolute set, to set my X0. Then I'll bring the edge finder off of the part, and then back on nice and slow, just to verify my X0. I'm about 2/10 off in the X, and I'm going to set that once again. Now we're going to move onto the Y axis of our part, so I'm going to move the edge finder off of the piece, come to the back edge of my part up against my solid vise, and I like to come to about the middle of the part, just to make sure if there's any type of an angle that we're compensating for that. And same thing. I can just verify by giving the edge finder a flick. Slowly bringing it on. And once it breaks, I'll come up to my digital readout, pressing Y. An absolute set to set my 0. I'll dial the edge finder off of my part and then slowly bring it back on. I'm about 6/10 off in the Y, 8/10 off, so I'll hit Y, absolute set. And then I'm going to bring my quill up and stop my spindle. So now that I've broken the edge and found my X and Y, what I need to do now is move the edge finder in half of the diameter of the tip. So we said earlier that that was a 200 thousandths tip. So I want to move 100 thousandths in on my Y, hitting Y, absolute set. And then we need to dial the X back to 0. And once we're at 0, we'll dial the Y into the X into the piece 100 thousandths. Pressing X, absolute set. My edge finder should be right on the corner of my piece. And because we used a stop for our part, I should be able to move my edge finder anywhere, take the piece out, and if we were doing a production job or some other set to this, I should be able to have the same corner pick up X and Y 0. So I can bring the part back in, push it up against my stop, close my vise, make sure my part is sitting flat. And if everything is kosher, I should be able to bring my edge finder right up against the piece. And I should be about 100 thousandths away from the piece, from the center of that tool. So because we verified the X, we can go and re-verify the Y. Because we're also up against the solid edge of our vise, the Y should repeat just like the X. And I should be plus 100 thousandths on my digital readout. 100 thousandths and 6/10. And that's how we use an edge finder, setting a stop, and finding a repeatable X and Y on a Bridgeport machine. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.